Did you know that humans are getting shorter? What does bacon and eggs have to do with the CIA successfully overthrowing the government of Guatemala? Which country has a life expectancy of only 14 years old? Learn the stories behind these and so much more in my new book, Facts That Aren't True. Link in the description.
Tell everybody what your level of education is. Just let everybody know.
I have a bachelor's degree in biology and a master's degree in education.
Okay, biology.
What level of education do you have, Jacob?
Hold on. I have 2 master's degrees.
In
one
what?
in business and one in divinity. Okay.
Divinity.
So let me ask you this: you have a bachelor's.
I have a degree in tooth fairy studies too.
What? Yeah, you have a degree in tooth. You might as well. A bachelor's in biology gets you what? Does that even get you a job?
Yeah.
Yeah, a teaching position at a high school, maybe. So
yeah, maybe.
You have a bachelor's in
Is that a
biology,
job?
which has nothing to do with a prebiotic world, right? So you have no education in the field of the
Remember when you
prebiotic
provided
world, right?
sources that proved that your claim that radiometric decay fluctuates? Remember when you provided sources that debunked that?
Decay does fluctuate, you moron.
You have no evidence of that, and the paper you produced debunked your original claim.
No, my original point was never made because you're such a child.
No, yeah, it was made. Your point was we have evidence that radiometric decay rates fluctuate, and then you provided a paper that debunked one of the other papers you sent that thought they saw evidence of cyclical changes in radiometric dating. The second paper, it was like the fourth paper, debunked that earlier paper. It specifically mentioned the authors, and they said, yeah, that study was false. So there is no evidence that the decay rates change. And then you just completely ran away from it.
Yeah, none of that is
blocked
true.
me afterwards. And then you said, well, that wasn't the point. No, that was the point. You sent me those papers as evidence that decay rates change.
Bro, you are straight up lying right now.
No, I'm not.
You didn't even read the material I sent you.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. You didn't understand. I sent you an excerpt out of a paper. And you Googled
I read the actual papers.
You didn't read I sent you an excerpt out of a paper. And
yeah, and then I searched the papers, and on Science Direct, I was able to read them. Here, you can unmute yourself now.
The excerpt I sent you, you didn't read or understand. So you Googled
What did it say then? Tell us what it said.
It was calling for, how do I say this, higher sensitivity when judging the validity of radiometric dating.
Some of the papers said that, yeah.
It's calling for more time. When's the last time we did counting experiments? Do you know?
Do you have evidence that radiometric decay
When
rates
is the
fluctuate?
last time they did counting experiments to determine the half-life of these isotopes?
On Tuesday.
Do you know?
What
No,
evidence?
The 70s.
What evidence
The
of
70s.
So do you have evidence that the radiometric decay rates fluctuate?
I sent you they do fluctuate, dummy.
Do you have evidence?
What you're saying, and you don't know how to.
Yeah, so the question is, do you have evidence that they fluctuate?
Let me explain to you what you're trying.
What you're going to do is you're going to answer this question. Do we have evidence that they fluctuate?
Yes, they do.
Now
fluctuate.
give me your source.
Now I did give you my sources. What
None of those papers did that. None of those papers.
Yes, they did. Are you kidding me? Are you serious?
said one
the
paper.
University of Utah paper didn't.
One paper said, and it wasn't Utah, it was the Purdue study. One paper said they thought they had evidence of cyclical changes caused by like interference from the sun or something. I don't know what it was exactly.
No, it was.
They
caused
thought
by
that
a
they
polar
had.
shift.
They thought that they had evidence of cyclical changes
Don't
in the
even
rate.
remember what it said. It
And
was a
then the
polar
University of
polar
Illinois
shift.
paper, I believe it was, debunked their
You're totally
claim.
lying and making stuff up, bro. You're making stuff up.
What was the name of the paper? Do you remember? Let's read it.
I can resend you the paper if you'd like me to resend you the paper. What I'd like you to do is actually read the paper.
I did read the papers, including the
No, you
paper
didn't.
that said that
You didn't
the
read the
one
paper.
study that thought they saw cyclical changes in the decay rate was disproven.
No, they did see changes. They did visibly.
That's what they claimed, and then the
rates.
last paper said, nope, it's false. The Fishbach et
No, the
al.
last
study
paper
was
didn't
disproven.
say nope, it was false.
Yes, it did.
The last paper was a response given by another scientist, and that was his opinion that it was false. That's not how science works, Peterson. You don't just say, oh, no, I disagree, and now that's it.
How does science work?
Science is supposed to be observable and testable, right?
Yeah, and
When's
when
the
they
last time you
repeated
saw a
the
group of
tests of
amino
these
acids
initial
create a baby?
of that initial study, they found that their conclusion was false.
They did not find their conclusion was false. That's not even what it says. What are you reading?
So which study specifically do you think shows evidence that decay rates fluctuate?
Okay, let's get something straight. Peterson, decay rates of radioactive isotopes do change based on environmental factors. They can change. It does change.
Yeah,
However,
what evidence, which paper did you provide that gave evidence for that?
Let me finish this one point.
Nope. Which paper that you provided gave evidence of that?
What you're saying is that they don't.
Which paper that you provided gave evidence of that?
All of them.
All of the papers?
Are you telling me that you believe the decay rates of isotopes are static?
Yeah.
They don't change at all.
No.
Nobody would agree with you. Nobody.
Literally 100% of all geophysicists would agree with me.
No geophysicists. I've talked to people that know more than you, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
Name one.
You're a high school science teacher.
Yeah, which is why I rely on the scientists and their papers.
So debate me live then. Will you do that?
We are debating live right now.
Let's do a formal debate. No. I want to give you time to get your thoughts together because you're obviously a total moron. So let's do a live debate.
We are live debating. I think you're the one that doesn't have your shit together.
There's only 200 and something people in here, bro. Not only do you not have enough education to be speaking on this subject, but
how does a master's degree in divinity prepare you for this subject?
To be a bully. The way you look.
I'm only a bully to people who deserve it. Jacob, how did your master's degree in divinity prepare you for this subject?
You think you can bully people?
How did your master's degree in divinity prepare you for this subject?
You think you're a big tough?
How did your master's degree in divinity prepare you for this subject?
You're not tough, though.
How did your master's degree in divinity prepare you for this subject?
It caused me to study things, unlike you.
In what way?
In what way? Okay.
You don't have an answer for that. Okay, stay on mute for a little while.
Yeah, I'll ask you a basic question that you won't be able to answer. How about that in front of everybody?
How about you stay on mute for a little while?
Let's test your knowledge. Let's show everybody how stupid you really are. Why don't we do that?
Good luck.
Can we do that?
Good luck.
Explain to me, Planet Peterson, if you can, how you think it's possible. Let me ask you this. What's the smallest protein that we know of? How many amino acids is it?
Yeah, you're running away from the topic of radiometric decay.
Oh, no, we're going to get there. Okay, when were the counting experiments done and how were they done? What are counting experiments? What does that mean?
It's an experiment where you count things, obviously.
Count what? What are you counting?
Whatever you want.
You don't know nothing. You haven't done even a little bit of research.
Stay on mute. I'm trying to read one of the papers you sent me.
Yeah, dude, you're a
Okay. You ready, Jacob?
You can't answer basic questions about science, Peterson. You're a fake, dude.
Isn't that unfortunate? Okay, here's the conclusion to one of the papers you sent me.
Basic questions.
These are the DMs, right here. This is the link to the paper that you sent me.
What was the first one I sent you?
Go ahead and right here.
What does it say?
Tell me what in this conclusion tells us that radioactive, that decay rates fluctuate. Tell me where it says, and this is the entire conclusion. At the next point, it goes into the references. So tell me, where in this paper does it say that decay rates fluctuate?
Go all the way to the end.
This is the end.
All the way to the end.
This is literally the end. Paragraph? Yes. You read these top to bottom, left to right, and it goes to the references right there.
You don't know how to read. Go back. A multitude of techniques have been used to measure nuclear half-lives. Essentially, the idea is, if you read a little bit further, that they're calling for increased testing to know for sure what these half-lives are.
So this paper does
part?
not provide evidence that decay rates
The
fluctuate.
paper was part of a group of papers that were sent to you, Peterson.
So you claimed that the papers you sent me show evidence that decay rates fluctuate, but this paper does not do that, correct? This paper does not show evidence that decay rates fluctuate, correct?
That paper was never meant to show that.
Okay, so far we have zero evidence.
Why do you keep muting me? Are you muting me because you know you're an idiot?
Yes.
Can't have a conversation?
Okay, here is the second thing. University of Illinois uranium isotopes are not invariant, research shows.
So the first paper
do you know
was
what
sent to
do you know what invariance in ratios
that the scientific
means?
community is calling for
Jacob, do you know what invariance of ratios means?
The first paper was sent to you.
Jacob, do you know what invariance of ratios means?
Yes, I do know what invariance
Explain.
of ratios means. Do you know what it means?
Yes, now explain.
Invariance of Peterson, you're asking me basic questions.
Chat, it's not answering the question. What does it mean?
You can mute me all you want. I know who you are.
I will. Every time you don't answer the question, I will mute you. What does invariance of ratios mean?
I'm coming for you. You're a fake.
Chat, it muted itself. Oh, I can't even unmute him. What the heck? Did he leave? What's going on? It won't let me. He muted himself and now I can't unmute him. Like, literally, it's like grayed out for some reason. He's right there. Jacob, what happened to you? Well, we'll just wait for him to come back. I'll just tell the audience. Oh, he rage quitted. Oh man. So oh dude. My TikTok, it's like, what is going on? It won't let me hide the scene. Okay, there we go. So invariance of the ratio of parent material to daughter product is part of how we date the sample. Well, it's kind of like the way you date the sample, but invariance of the ratio is just this built-in assumption that the ratio of them is dictated by the rate of decay and nothing else interferes. But no, other papers that Jacob sent me showed, nope, there's like enzymatic, microbial activity, and there is, for meteorites, it can happen because of like a bombardment of cosmic rays can cause the ratio to change because it kicks out one isotope or the other. And so the invariance of the ratio is not set. So I got to get those papers like in chronological order in case he ever comes back. But I mean, he ran away from everything.